Hi, I'm Natalie. I'm narrative lead at Animal Think Tank, and this mini presentation is going to be covering 5 key strategies for talking about animal freedom. So, at Animal Think Tank, we've been doing extensive public opinion research as well as research into effective campaigns and social movements, all to help us build a portfolio of communication tools. Tools that can both help us challenge harmful myths and narratives about other animals and our relationship with them, and also tools to help us amplify helpful narratives, shared values, and our vision of a better future. So, top tip number 1 is about using inclusive language. And it's really about communicating a sense of a bigger us with language that speaks to the similarities that we share with our animal cousins. So, what that looks like in practice is moving away from terms like non-human animals, which just reinforces the idea that other animals aren't human, and using more inclusive language like our animal cousins, our relatives, fellow animals, fellow beings. It's about questioning whether we need to use term leather and whose, which just kind of reinforces this idea of other animals as different, and whether we can use more inclusive language such as hair, skin, and feet. Similarly with barking, mewing, and unhelpful frames like animals as voiceless, whether we can use more inclusive language like talking, speaking, and communicating. Tip 2 is about using animal first language. And it's really about helping people connect with other animals as individuals first and foremost, rather than framing other animals in terms of their supposed function to humans. So in practice, that means moving away from terms like pets and companion animals, because obviously we wouldn't use this language for humans. We wouldn't say my companion human, and instead using animal first language like animal companions, family members. Similarly, not reinforcing industry terms like farm animals and livestock, but saying animals who are farmed. And likewise with racehorses and zoo animals, these aren't animals who belong in these places. They are horses forced to race and animals confined in zoos. Number 3 is about using active language. So making clear that something is being done to other animals rather than their situation is natural or normal. So in practice, this means moving away, just doing really small language shifts, such as rather than saying animal farming, farming animals, rather than horse racing, racing horses, rather than animal testing, testing on animals. So just a small shift that really shows that something is being done to other animals. Rather than using industry euphemisms like breeding, terms like forced pregnancies and females forced to have babies. And again, rather than using industry euphemisms like rearing, raising, weaning, which is really concealing what is happening to other animals, being very explicit when we say things like taking babies from their mothers or separating families. Number 4 is use values-based language. So really connecting with people's shared values that they can relate to, rather than using abstract legal, scientific, or academic jargon that just doesn't resonate for the average person. So what this looks like in practice is questioning whether we need to use terms like rights and justice, and whether it'd be more helpful to use values like freedom, kindness, fairness, dignity, and love, values that people can really connect with and understand. Whether sentience really means much to the average person, and whether it's better actually to describe how other animals, or better yet, show how other animals experience emotions, have feelings, have intelligence. And similarly with more scientific language like habitats, populations, and species, whether we can use more values-based language like homes, communities, and families. And final tip number 5 is about using arm movements language. So really being intentional about the frames, the narratives that we use, and avoiding reinforcing harmful industry frames and narratives. So what this would look like in practice is avoiding industry terms like dairy cow, broiler chicken, egg layer, and saying things like mother cow or male, female chicken. Avoiding industry euphemisms like abattoir, culling, depopulation, euthanized, and being very explicit about what is happening, such as slaughterhouse, killing. And similarly with harmful framing such as invasive species, reframing it as other animals introduced by humans. So these are just 5 top tips. I hope they've been helpful. If you'd like to find out more about the narrative research that we're doing at Animal Think Tank, you can use this QR code, which will take you links such as our website, our blog, our webinars, our newsletter, and also our guides. Thank you for being here.